Hey all, Bindley here. For the past several lessons, we've been dealing with genetics, specifically heredity, and we've been plugging along with those Punnett squares. So for today, I want to wrap up a few loose ends and go over some topics I think you're really going to enjoy. So topic number one would be multiple alleles. You know, typically we say there are two genes. For example, brown hair or blonde hair, right? That's kind of how I've been teaching it, and that's how you see it in most textbooks. However, it's more than just one recessive gene. Okay, so take hair color just one more time without overly confusing anybody. You also have that super recessive gene that's red. And similarly with eye color, blue isn't the only recessive gene. You have that super elusive recessive green eye color as well. So I thought I wanted to share that with you and make you aware that those are multiple alleles. They're still recessive. And I'll come back to that in just a few minutes, okay? Now, codominance, we've talked about that already. My classic example would be dogs that have spots. Like my Midnight, my dog I spoke of, they had, even though she was a black lab, she had white spots on her chest and her belly. I'll give you one example with humans in just a few moments as well. And that same example in humans is also an example of multiple alleles, but I'm putting too many spoilers out there for you. Also, sex-linked traits. I have a really neat little sex-linked trait I want to talk about, and that's, I put in a different color here, fur color in cats. So obviously hair color in humans is not sex-linked, whether it's brown or red or blonde or what have you, that's not sex-linked, but in cats, their fur color is sex-linked, and it's also codominant, which makes it another really, really exciting, I think fun kind of problem to get into. Now obviously the ones that are in red, baldness, hemophilia, color blindness, albinism, those are the classic examples of things we've touched on. Moreover, gender itself can be worked out like a typical sex-linked problem. That's why males and females are, biologically, statistically speaking, 50% each way. Let me turn this page here. There we go. Took me long enough. Blood typing. So like I said, that's an example of multiple alleles. It's also an example of codominance. So you got to understand the key terms here, okay? We have four primary blood types, A, B, and O. Here's where it gets complicated, y'all. O is the recessive one, but A and B are codominant to each other. So you do not write O like little a. You do not write O like little b, because you have to show that it's recessive to both A and B. Okay, see, I told you it's complicated. So we just write A, we write B, we have blood type AB, and we have blood type O. So take a look at this. This is kind of hokey, but this will help you out. It's my little demo. So A would be the beaker with the red thumbtacks, blood type B. But guess what? They can be codominant. See that? You can have the red and the blue thumbtacks. In actuality, they're A and B proteins floating in your bloodstream. Or you could have 0 or O, okay? And that's why I can take O and add it to any of the other ones, and O is my universal donor, okay? And that's similarly why I can add a red or a blue thumbtack to AB. AB is my universal receiver. I hope that makes sense. And to give you one nice little way of remembering this, just think of the second letter in the word donor. The second letter in the word donor is O. So anyways, let's talk about genotypes now. Okay, you see what I wrote here, okay? Big A is homozygous for A, big B, all right? Now here's where it gets a little tricky again. You have a few different versions that are heterozygous. So you can be AO, you can be BO, haha, BO, haha, or of course AB, which is the codominant variety. And then you can be homozygous recessive. That would be OO. That should be an easy one once you see what's going on there. So let's do some problems. Example problem number one. Let's just say you have a guy who is, somehow we know, magically we know he's a carrier for O, and similarly the woman is a carrier for O as well. You do the math, you do the monohybrid cross, the Punnett square, and you get both a phenotypic and genotypic ratio of 1 to 1 to 1 to 1. That should be easy, right? Let's do one more. This gets a little more complicated. All right, check this one out. So look up here. We have a guy. Now I'm giving you a word problem type of thing. The guy is blood type A. The girl is blood type A as well. So now I made it slightly more complicated. We don't know if they're carrying O or they're AA. We don't know any of that. So we'll just play around, do some Punnett squares. If both of them are carriers for O, that's what you get right here. If one is a carrier for O, that's what you get right there. Hopefully that makes sense. Or obviously, if they are not carriers, if they're both homozygous for A, all 4 squares would be AA. Okay? But here's the complicated thing. Okay? What if you get a kid from these 2 parents, you get a kid who has blood type B? Like maybe the kid is codominant, right? AB. How is that possible? How is that possible? Okay, so this is a case where it's very black and white. In other words, that's not the dad. That is not the dad. Obviously, this kiddo inherited the B from somewhere, but not that guy. Okay, so that would be maybe the kid was adopted, or mom had an affair, and this isn't meant to be funny or silly or whatever. This is biology, so that's the math right there. Okay. Now let's do another really fun problem, and I'm being really serious. I'm not being a dork. This is fun. So we have cats. I said earlier, their color is sex-linked. So it's also codominant. So I made up some goofy little variables right here. You can have males. So XY. So we're dealing with sex-linked traits. We have to write it XYs. But we're going to say that these male tabby cats, you've seen the male tabbies. They're oftentimes orange and white. So orange and white is one gene. I just labeled it O for orange. Okay? So a male tabby can be orange. A female tabby cat, remember she's got 2 X chromosomes on her sex pair. She could be black, sometimes black and white, that gets kind of thrown in there, or gray, or she can be, look at this, XOXO. What does that mean? So she's going to have colors similar to a typical tabby male, where she could be orange or some pattern of orange. But wait for it, drum roll. Oh yeah, she could be XOXB. Bam! Don't you love this? That's a calico. A calico cat is 100% of the time female. A calico would be the cat that is, and it's not a breed, it's just a female. They have all 3 colors, orange, white, and black. I've had students who try to argue with me, oh, they have a male and it's calico. I'm like, dude, what's wrong with you? That's clearly not a male, but I'll just stop there. All right, guys, hopefully that makes sense. Look it over, have some fun with this. Again, this is fun stuff. And until next time, peace out. Have a great day.